Seahawks and Rams down to the last drop. Jimmy Garoppolo trying to lead his team to a victory on 4th and 5. Pass falls incomplete. Seattle comes away with a win in their season finale. LA with the loss drops from the 3 seed to the 4, which is not nothing. They are now guaranteed a 14-win team out of the NFC North. Their playoff meeting will be with the loser of the Vikings and the Lions. The loser of the Vikings and the Lions might be the second best team in the NFC. We're just laying it all out there. This loss by LA could cost them in the end. With that, we also know the Bucs move to the 3 seed. They will play host to the Commanders in the wild card round. All right, back to the here and now. We'll look forward, obviously, to those matchups in just a bit. Bryant McFadden, Emory Hunt, Ryan Wilson here to give their thoughts on what was maybe an uninspired effort by the Rams. Emory, what did you make of who they trotted out there and the way they went about their business with seeding still at stake?
Disclaimer. Sean McVay is still one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the NFL. And the reason why you like Sean McVay in that role is because you expect his reserves to come out and play as hard as his starters. So to see how much they gave up defensively, how they couldn't really get off the field, was uninspiring, in my opinion, based on what they had at stake. Hey, seeding is important. And at the end of the day, offensively, yeah, they're able to move the football. But defensively, I was shocked because this was a team that was playing really well on that side of the ball down the stretch.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I wonder if at the end of the day, if Sean McVay outthinks himself a little bit, if 2 weeks from now he wonders if maybe the starter should have been out there a little bit longer, right? Because it's one thing to face a 14-win team in a, whoever ends up being, whether it's the Vikings or the Lions coming to town, or whether it's a team like Washington, in which you have a chance. At least you feel better about it because Washington, while they've won 12 games, have quarterbacks, so on and so forth. So I have some questions, but I don't. Sean McVay has been to a Super Bowl, and he's won a Super Bowl. So,
Mac, how do you weigh those two things? The possibility of controlling opponent against getting your guys the rest they need, knowing you don't have a bye.
Well, I think it's up to the coach because he knows his players better than all of us. And it's been a very, very long, trying year for the Los Angeles Rams when you look at everything they had to battle through, getting off to a slow start, dealing with so many injuries, and of course, having a savvy vet at the quarterback position in Matthew Stafford. So maybe Sean McVay, was monitoring and talking to some of his experienced guys and kind of got their insight about what to do in this final week. Because clearly he knew the ramifications of this ball game against the Seattle Seahawks. Win and potentially the matchup. Lose, and of course you know exactly who you're going to see. So I think he felt like the greater good of the team was more important than putting his experienced guys out there for the final game. And I think for Sean McVay, the last thing I'll say is that regardless of who he would face, if it's the Commanders, if it's the Lions, if it's the Vikings, they got to come to your crib. So I think he really played that to be a very, very important factor in his decisions. And, they got to sleep in the bed they made. But regardless, there's no easy out. But to your point, Ryan, there are a few matchups you would rather have than if you were to pick the options. But he decided to rest his guys, and now they're getting ready for week 1 against probably one of the best teams in the NFC at their place.
With all due respect to Jaden Daniels and the season that he's had, what Washington has been, I think you can have a conversation about who you want to see 1 and 2 on that list, but 3 is the command. You want the Commanders. You had a chance to get the Commanders. You had a team in front of you with little to play for other than incentive, and you do take the conservative route. Here is what the Commanders will have: a meeting with the Buccaneers in that 6 versus 3. The Commanders waiting to see this outcome. It could have been a trip to LA instead. Instead, it's Baker and the Bucs. An offense that can go, a defense that'll try and slow you down, as the Buccaneers and Commanders did meet back in week 1 with a resounding victory out of the gates for the rookie quarterback.